I've always wondered what it would be like to be that girl. You know, the ones who seem to have it all figured out, that perfect life, an incredible career, partner, and everything in between. Well, so far, I've identified more as imperfectly perfect. But here's a crazy idea. You and I'm confident we can have it all too. A life we're in love with. Because, hear me out. The more I go through life, the more I realize that actually no one knows what they're really doing. And let's be honest, we're all out here just trying to figure it all out. Life can be messy, busy, and lonely sometimes. But most of all, it's pretty epic, and that's the fun of it. Making mistakes and learning to love who you are. Because you can't hate the experiences that shaped you, right? Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can become who you were meant to be in the first place. But one thing I know for sure is that if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself, my true self, and so should you. Welcome to the She's Got It All Figured Out podcast. Well, almost. A personal development podcast helping you design a life you love within the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, grab a warm cup of coffee, go on your hot girl walk, or put on your sweats and get comfy. But whatever you're doing, get ready for some epic girl talk. Welcome to the first podcast episode of She's Got It All Figured Out. Well, almost. I'm so glad you're here and excited that we're embarking on this journey together. To begin with, you probably have no idea who I am. And that's alright, because hell, sometimes I don't even know who I am. But let me introduce myself so we can get to know each other a little bit more. My name is Alex, I'm currently 27, and I live in Montreal, Canada. I'm French-Canadian, so you might hear my accent a bit. In my day-to-day job, I am a movie and TV producer, which is really fun, and I'm also an entrepreneur. For some random facts about me, I love to laugh, so I usually like to binge watch rom-coms or sitcoms. I'm obsessed with anything that allows me to be very creative, like writing, music, reading, performing arts, and all of that. Also, I am single, so if you have ideas, help a girl out. But anyways, let me tell you the story of how the idea for the podcast all started. I'm going to take you way back to a few years ago when I was just 21 years old. Even though I grew up in Canada, I went to college in the US in Michigan because of a scholarship. And right after college, I took a bus with nothing more than a suitcase and ambition and headed to the city that never sleeps, New York City. I arrived in Grand Central Station, ready to start a new chapter in my life and to fulfill all of my dreams. I had saved as much money as I could, and my plan was to get a job in the entertainment industry. With the little I had, I rented a bedroom in an apartment I found online, and the place was just what I needed for the moment and well located in Manhattan. On my first day in the city, I grabbed a coffee and I went on a walk in Central Park, thinking about all the opportunities waiting for me, and I was ready to get to work. So I started applying to as many jobs as I could. But then, everything went radio silent. I wasn't hearing back at all, and the few interviews I was getting became rejections after rejections. After months and months of trying to make it in the city, it was getting very discouraging because I was getting nowhere. I had gotten a backup job not in my field and that I hated just to pay the bills, which was barely enough to pay my cost of living. But most of all, I was running out of time. Being Canadian, I was on a 1-year work visa and it was about to expire. With no connections, barely any experience or money, and the time ticking, there I was feeling like everything I had worked for was falling apart. I had to make a decision, and at that point, with no time left, I was basically forced to go back home. So there I was again, standing in Central Station with that same suitcase, but now contemplating how it was one of the lowest points in my life. It was early in the morning, the terminal was packed with people commuting for work or traveling, and there I was standing in the middle of this chaos, feeling numb and like a complete failure, reflecting on how the hell did I get here. You know those days where it feels like there's no way it could go worse, but somehow it just keeps getting worse anyway? Well, that was it. That moment is what got me wondering what it would be like to be that girl. You know, the ones who seem to have it all figured out, that perfect life, the incredible career, an amazing partner, and everything in between. That wasn't my current situation, obviously. Let's see. My career sucked. Relationship status, it's complicated. And by complicated, I mean I had just gotten dumped and cheated on. Checking account, pretty much bankrupt. And how was everything else? I think you can guess. Every area of my life was out of control. It was one mess after another, and I had just had enough. So I had a crazy idea right then and there. Why not me? I could be that girl too. I just needed a new plan and take it one step at a time like any other problem. I could do it. So I did what anyone would do in a situation like this. I looked up shit on the internet. Dear Google, tell me, how do I get my life together? What I discovered with time and trying different things is that actually the human experience becomes much better once you decide life isn't about finding yourself, but rather creating yourself. We will always be a work in progress our whole life. There's no finish line, and that's the best part of it. Every new decision becomes a new direction, new lessons, and all of it makes you evolve into the beautiful and unique person that you are. It's a journey full of ups and downs, happiness and sadness, successes and failures, but overall completely imperfect while being perfect. And that's just how it is for everybody. That realization made me feel at peace with the process. I became kinder to myself and excited to be alive again and to feel the intensity of all those moments. We are our own experiments, our own work of art, and we need to allow ourselves to take it all in. The good, the bad, and just be grateful for every second of it. It sounds so simple, but really it isn't. But that openness, that's what started to shift my reality. I was creating my own opportunities, investing in myself and my personal growth. It wasn't without many, many more mistakes, failures, and hardships that every bit of successes came along. And eventually, I realized that what felt like my first real major failure at the time was actually truly just the beginning. From there, I fell in love with the journey of life itself and all the imperfections it brings, because every lesson becomes a part of our story and who we're becoming. The pursuit of living authentically to ourselves in every way possible. That's what it's all about. That's your work of art. Looking back, I'm glad I faced so many challenges because it made me the person I am today. A strong woman enjoying her personal growth journey and an entrepreneur who also, at last, gets a chance to work on amazing movies and TV shows in the entertainment industry. It will always work out because even the darkest nights end up with a sunrise at some point, right? So there you have it. My personal development journey inspired me to start this podcast. So often have I felt alone in this process, and I realized that so many people are craving a support system, an empowering community, a safe and kind space, the tools and resources to design a life they love. Here is what you can expect from the podcast. The goal is to help you design a life you love within the 8 dimensions of wellness: occupational, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial, intellectual, social, and environmental. Each dimension is essential to live a balanced and fulfilled life. We will be discussing with experts in each of these areas to accelerate the pace at which you can achieve your true goals and desires. No matter where you are in your life right now, you will always be a work in progress towards your best self. And knowledge and education is key to your personal growth. Now is not the time to lower your expectations. If you're here, you're being called to a higher purpose. You're always one decision away from a totally different life, and your path to breakthrough starts here. I can't wait to share incredible discussions with you and to be a part of your support system to success to help you become the person you're meant to be. Thank you for hanging out with me for this first episode. I have a feeling this is going to be an incredible journey, and I can't wait for more amazing moments we can share together. I'm sure the upcoming episodes will blow your mind, so invest in your future, your personal growth, and tune in. Plus, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new content. I love that we got to spend some time together today. Have fun out there, and I'll see you in the next one.